Hey, how's it going, everyone? Let's go ahead and let's get this power hour session. So again, before we do start this power hour session, if there is anyone that is brand new to trading these power hour sessions or is a beginner trader, right? Please keep in mind that Power Hour might not be for you. Use this session as an educational session. I don't want to see you put yourself in a position where you just go aggressive on a trade we take and we're taking it smaller. Make sure it fits your criteria. Make sure you understand why you're taking the trade. And if you have any questions, I ask like, does anyone have any questions? Like I literally like 50 times during my calls. Okay, I ask it for a reason. I don't want anyone to take blind trades. I'm looking to take a trade in the last 15, 20 minutes of the market, maybe 30 minutes. But what I'm watching for is this 683 level on the QQ. So, one thing I do want you guys to understand is that volume analysis really matters on days like today, right? Obviously, as you guys know, in current market conditions, I trade 80% order flow, 20% of that. I also do use a technical analysis. Now, we are in a big macro area, right? We're in this, this is where in a macro standpoint, this is where theoretically price can sweep up very hard, right? Now, things need to line up here. And what I mean with things need to line up here is that, like for example, here, right, as you can see here in a daily time frame, what do you see here? What do you guys see here? What is right here? What is right here? Oh, let me the chat's off, but what's right here? Where are we currently at in a daily time frame and using my volume profile indicator? Rotation into Monday, you mean. But what is this? What is this here? But what does that mean? What does LVN mean? I know it's support. I know it's a big support, but low volume node. And what do we look like if we were trading low volume node in a 5 minute time frame? What are we looking for there? What are we looking like if we're looking in a shorter time frame? What are we looking for exactly? I'm having brain fog because this is where I want to make sure you guys are actually paying attention to my concept. These are proprietary concepts that you will not learn anywhere else. What are we looking for here? Correct. Price action, reversals, yes, but it's a lower volume node, and this criteria does not fit everybody. Okay, this criteria does not fit everybody. So this criteria doesn't, but I am looking for this gap fill here on the highest time frame possible here. Now, the highest time frame possible here is not the highest time frame, but one of the highest time frames here, which is the daily time frame. As you guys can see, we are confirming that yesterday's sell-off had more volume than today's sell-off. Now, what we are also confirming is that we're coming for this gap fill. So as soon as we come to this gap fill, 683, I'm looking to get calls. You guys can do it for Monday. You guys can do it this power hour. I'm gonna do it for this power hour. I need some excitement in my life here this morning. I actually respected my rules. I didn't take a trade after that Google trade, and I need some excitement here. Okay, so 7410 calls on SPX works if we hit 683 on QQQ. Okay, so we need some excitement here. Again, this is a higher risk trading strategy, but get some Monday calls. If you want like something fast reversals, get Monday for like 690, get Wednesday, or even get, one of your favorite tech stocks here. Like I like Google here. In terms, someone's asking, where do I see rotation? So let's go here and see the rotationary period here. So as you guys can see, the liquidity got drained out of Microsoft and went into Apple, right? So Apple has strength. Google is relative. I see rotate. If we were to bounce here, rotations in semiconductors and Tesla here. If my calculations are correct, right, and they're correct about 80% of the time, it's the semiconductor space here and Tesla. Semiconductors and Tesla are prone to a bounce going into early next week. Now, I'm not going to swing anything, right? It could be lucrative, right? But thing is, I'd rather just play ODT. Just keep in mind, if you guys are looking at the QQQ, just do my three candlestick rule, right? If you guys pay attention to my three candlestick rule in the daily time frame, as you guys can see, this is my first candlestick. This is my second candlestick. And the third candlestick, especially if we confirm it with volume, is going to give us everything we need to know, right? Everything we need to know. We should never long bearish pin bars like this. The third candlestick is going to tell us everything we need to know. And we are coming back down to this base support. And that third candlestick is going to give us everything we know, especially if we see a pop in volume like what we saw here on Friday of July 17th. right? This is what we like to trade. This is where we make the most money with calls, right? When there's momentum. That's where we were like, whoops, we takes it back up there, you know? There hasn't been any type of volume like that, right? At the end of the day, we're trading this historical liquidity here, right? That's why I call this area the liquidity pool. And as you guys can confirm here, we have lower volume situation. That's why this is an emergency meeting. I need you guys to understand where exactly we're in, right? Don't get be dizzy. Really read the graph and understand what it's telling you here. This is a low volume sell-off in comparison to yesterday. Now, if we look at the weekly time frame, last week's sell-off was much stronger than this week's sell-off. It might seem scary. Yes, I get it. It might seem scary, but this is, then exactly these type of, this is what I told you guys in all-time high, right? How is something going to keep going higher when it's trending in lower volume? This is just, calling to fall, right? So let's see where the actual volume is going to come in. And like I said, I see the actual volume coming in at the point of control, which is 25,000. We are going to back test these areas. Okay. So I'm waiting for 683 on the QQQs. That's where I'm going to take a trade in this power hour session. And I'm going to go a little bit, crazier here to test this macro area. So, you guys could focus on the 686 calls on QQQ. I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to respect my rule. I'm waiting till 683 here. All right. Who's with me and who's not with me? And I want people to contradict me here. If you guys think we're going lower, I want to hear your analysis. It's okay to contradict me. Okay. We're here to all grow. We're here to all learn. Okay. We're all here to grow. Now, several of you guys had payouts for the prop firms. You guys traded yesterday and you guys blew it and you got your payouts denied. Okay. So you have to keep if you get requests of payout on these prop firms, okay, if you guys request the payout on these prop firms, make sure that you do not touch the account. Open another account if you need to. Use the 70% to your advantage, but do not touch the accounts in the terms and conditions. If you request a payout and you blow the account, do not touch the account. Don't blow it. That's where the prop firms get you, right? So I'm not a big fan of prop firms. I think they're great ways to learn. Yes, they are great ways to learn. They're great ways to have skin in the game and trade these levels, but respect the fact that if you pass a prop firm, which they're not hard to pass, right? But if you pass it, make sure you don't touch it. Go make a new account. Go create a new email. Make a new account. You get what I'm saying? All right, so 683 here. Okay, we're approaching it. All right, guys. All right, ladies, and we're below 20. We're below $20 on the VIX. So 683 is here. What are we thinking? All right. So let's see. So you 7,400. This is the price target demon if you were looking for this price target. So again, 683 is here. Oh, perfect touch. Fine. I was waiting for this all day. I was waiting for this literally all day. The only thing is that the semiconductor space lost the support area. But again, this is the great. Yeah, I think semis will pop next week. That's where rotation is going to go back into, right? But if anyone wants to take 685 calls here, this is a great spot to take those 685 calls on the QQs. Nice, very nice trade on the SPX puts. I'm gonna wait for SPX till like the last 30 minutes. They're 45 cents. The 685 calls. I want to get a good entry. I'm like, I got my finger on like the buy button. I got my finger on the buy button. What are we doing? This is the macro gap fill here. This is the macro gap fill here. All right, see what the algorithm does here now that we're reading below 683. Institutions, everyone. Okay, this is the gap fill, 682.80. Pay attention to the daily gap fill here. All right. 682.80. If you guys want to take it here at 0.36, it's a good spot. 682.80. I'm in at 0.36. All right, let's see what happens here. 682.80 does have to hold to some extent here. I'm in. I'm in. If you guys need to respect timing for the last 30 minutes, please do so. I'm back testing this level. Premiums move very fast. I'm in the six, I'm in the 685 calls. My average is 0.36 on these. Like, and and if you guys want the safer bet here, it's gonna be we have to come back down below the opening range here on the VIX. So the confirmation for this trade is that the UVXY is back down below the opening range here. Or 25.50, Alejandro. Your analysis was pretty spot on this morning where you were talking about 25.55. If anyone wants to get, the SPX is a little bit too expensive here for my liking right now. I want to just play this with some cheap contracts here. Yeah, if you guys want to do Tesla ODTE, Meta looks good. Like if we really rip, a lot of these stocks are gonna even Google, right? I'm just doing this right here. So right here, I'm up 25%. Okay, nice. 25% right here. Come on. Come on. I need more momentum though. Come on. Where the buyers at? Then this is where you start to zoom out, okay? Like this is where you go to the 1 hour time frame, and this is where you start to like analyze volume, right? Like we still haven't got volume here, right? This is smart money slowly accumulating, but they offload if they don't see no volume here. Because their strategy is that they buy here thinking everyone's going to come in, and then once everyone comes in and flocks into it and brings in the volume, they offload. And that's what I mean with the manipulation, right? Because that's their strategy. So we need volume here at the end of the day. There's still no volume. That's why I like trading around, algorithm where the cluster orders are at. Like I said, we're not going to get the pop until this drops below the opening range, 25.35 on the UVXY. That is where we will drop. Excuse me, that's when we will pop. That's when this will drop. Or you guys could even do the where we opened on the month, 25.30. It's consolidating here. These are back to break even. Okay. And if you feel this is too fast for you, please respect your stops. Back at 682.80 here. Yeah, I'm thinking pop around 12:30, okay? So we still got like 15 minutes. Don't do anything impulsive here just yet. Like I said, we need more volume here. Volume's starting to come in here, 682.80. So the level's still spot on. You could do 684 calls if you want to go closer. I'm doing the 685s. My average is 0.36. They're currently at 0.30. It's good spots to add, by the way. I'm just chilling here, keeping things, once I get that confirmation here, I will size up here. And you see the buildup, right? Like if you look at the 15-minute time frame, right? Still no confirmation just yet here. I did a last ad here at 0.29, bringing my average to 0.34. All right, let's see. Guess the technique is to get above 682.80. If we don't, it's better to just respect till 12:30, okay? Remember, these time plots act like they really follow the algorithm here. All right, if you feel that this trade's giving you a little bit of anxiety, please, manage your risk, okay? Manage your risk. My average is 0.34. I'm up 5% here. And just wait till 12:30 if you need to. Exactly. There's no follow through. But let's see. Like I see, I think the follow through is gonna come closer to 12:30. But it could come from now to anytime to 12:30, really. So that's why I chose these contracts because they're relatively cheaper. That way I'm not like dabbing in entries and exits. Pump it up. No. Come on here. I'll play some motivational music here. My daughter be watching Peppa here. Pump it up. Come on, we got this. We got this. Come on, can we do it? Come on, put in some motivational music. Come on. All right, the song gave us a little weak pump here, but manage your risk here. My average is 0.34. Again, there's no follow through, like some of you guys have said. Like I said, it's closer to 12:30. If you're in it with me, it's like have some, something, like yeah. Changes macro time frame. Some of you guys are doing for Monday's expiration, trying to see what's going to happen here into close. Again, key, when in doubt, start to zoom out, right? Like see what's actually happening here in this hour. Once we start to confirm real volume come in, that's the confirmations. As of right now, we got lower volume. These are still at break even, okay? I'm still at break even. Man, I've been waiting for this trade all day. All right, up 8%. Like I mean, guys, it's like, like I said, closer to 12:30. We're just hovering around 7,400 here on SPX. There's no volume. Literally, there's no volume. I'm in the QQQ 685 calls with an average of 0.34. Yeah, hold your ammo for 345. All right, we're starting to, 15% here. Nothing too crazy. But come on, we need to bump this up. I need to break this high here. Come on. This is, like trading low volumes, like a bunch of degens here, but this is a macro time frame. That's why I trade, 80% order flow in this current market environment. Believe me or not, yes, technical analysis does pay, but not in this current market environment where, it's clearly manipulated all across the board. But, still playing that 20% aspect of it and still, I mean, I'm about 15% here. If you want to take profits, take profits, right? It's still low volume. And it might be that the last 15 minutes, why I don't like playing this early on in power hours, because like I'm like already so focused on this trade that in the last 15 minutes, we might get the best move where we're just like draining ourselves here, right? But I get it if we do break here. But come on. So whoever took the 684 calls, you're coming into the money, but we're up 20% here. Like again, it's riskier business when this is still holding the opening range. We're popping, but this needs to align. This needs to hold below the opening range here. For us to see that pop, we need to fill this opening range here. Okay, give me a little bit of analysis why you think VIX wants to fall. This is how people start to talk themselves into things, right? VIX wants to look like it wants to fall. Okay. And I'm not saying to like call you out or anything. It's just like, the technical analysis, like, are you confident in that? Or are you just saying that because you're in the position? These are things you need to understand too, right? Because that's what I mean when sometimes, you talk yourself into something. I still see low volume here, so it could go either way. You see it go either way. Yeah, like just, I'm in light here. I'm trying to see what's gonna happen here at this level, and I'm okay with it. We got 5 minutes till 12:30. No, it's all good. Just wait for it to get a new high. You're actually not wrong, Alejandro. You're just wait for the new high to break, right? Let the VIX sweep first. It seems like it is going to the high of the day, but you know, have that emphasis at the high here. Because yes, if there's no follow through momentum, that theory is going to play out good, but wait for the high. And that's what I mean sometimes when I say, oh, it's, you know, like when you talk yourself into holding a trade, right? Back into this boring price action, but that's what I meant with this pop, right? We still haven't confirmed volume. We're trading the macro level. Now, if that pullback scared you, you know, let this be a reminder that if you need to exit, please exit, okay? Like if that pullback scared you and you don't want to risk capital, just wait for the last 15 minutes, okay? Let's be responsible adults here. Correct. Timing wise, the 684 calls are not doing anything. They're closer to the money. That's why I chose the cheaper ones, right? I'm back at break even, but you know, if you're into 684 calls, those might be moving a little bit better as they're closer to the money. But they're also more expensive. See why I like trading after 12:30? I mean, it was cool. We were up 20% at one point, which isn't take profits, but you know, that's why this power hour session I like trading after 12:30. You know, basically just been break even this whole time. Now, again, you need to stop out. Keep in mind. Or they're just getting started. Remember, it's the summer too. Okay, it's lower volume. But you know, I'm pretty sure some junior bankers right now looking at this gap fill like, oh, come on. Nice. Nice on the Tesla call. Yeah, or ODT Tesla calls. Look for something with a you know better range. All eyes are on tech right now. And you know, and the confirmation is going to be the SOXL, right? The SOXL reclaiming 136.50. So we're like still a dollar away from the SOXL. This has to go back above 136.50 to see that, and this needs to go below the opening range. All right, we're starting to move here. We're starting to move. But if you need to see an exit here, please exit. Assess your risk to reward, your risk management. Still low volume, right? You see this pop, still low volume. Candlestick closes at 3 seconds. It's just a low volume pop here. But that's their objective. They want to fake you out with volume. So this is where 80% of the concentration of volume traded at 684. So we got to reclaim 684. Well, these areas sound very redundant, like 694, 684. Sometimes I feel like I'm tripping, like, like what, like, 850, 750. That might just be the technique that they're using these psychological levels. Because my key levels was 684, well, 683 and 980, 98. No, excuse me. 684 and 694. All right, well, that's that 1230 candlestick. That's the push through, but still low volume, right? 684 calls about to be in the money here. If anyone took the 7400s on SPX, I mean, probably a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, but it's coming, right? It's coming, it's coming. But 0.41, we're back at 20%. If you need to take these off at 20% here, I don't blame you, right? I even almost feel like taking these off here. But we're trading where 80% of the volume is trading at. You see how it's not it's not a coincidence that this trading, this is what their objective is, right? This is what I mean with the stop loss cluster orders. So it's like about getting out of this range here. These markets, huh? Nice, Alejandro. Alejandro caught a 130% on Tesla ODT. All right, but you guys see where I said that we drop below the pop. That's where we're gonna get the pop. So I mean, we're up 25% here. You know, nothing crazy. 26%. I'm up $180, but I did trim 10 contracts here. I had 20, but I did trim 10. Gonna leave the other 10 here. Yeah, and if you need to exit here, I don't blame y'all. If y'all made $57, right? Like, let's use this power hour session to keep up with inflation. Like, like I think I uploaded those contracts today. You got the limit, you did the market fill, Dave. I did the limit fill. Yeah, these are at 0.45 here, 0.48, 40%. Come on, come on. But like, like we gotta keep up with the rising inflation, right? Gas is like back at like, I pumped at $6.70. Gas is expensive. Even if we're like, making 50, $60, like, that fills up your tank here. Well, half a tank. My tank gets filled up with like $130. 7400s on SPX too. You see, macro 101. This session is called macro 101. You guys ain't gonna learn. You guys ain't gonna learn this anywhere else. Bioelectric. I got a G63 AMG G-Wagon. Like, I need a pop here. Ah, man, 60% though. I mean, we taking it or what, chat? I'm taking it. 0.62 I got out. Boom. That's how we trade here. Like, yeah, that's it. I mean, that's not it. I'm still a DJ. I'm still like, but it's like power hour. If you did 1 day to expiration, it was probably zero stress, right? Alejandro caught Tesla, but oh man. How we feeling? How's everyone feeling? We good? Low volume, huh? Low volume sucks, huh? Good. What's next? I just it's all good. Yeah, I know. Low volume sucks. I had 20 contracts, I the pump it up song, kind of like, pumped me up. But yeah, I sold at the top so far. If anyone wants to get in, this is the retest if anyone wants to get in, by the way. But I'm gonna play my focus on SPX. If anyone wanted to get in there, there you go, there you go, there you go. Ah, man. I hope the Bears are okay. We need some guy. Yeah, I know. I need to get the merch store going. I paid some guy like, 4K or 5K to, do my merch line, but I text him and he completely ghosted me. But yeah, this is where 80%, this is what I call the retest model, but in terms of timing, I'm gonna wait 10 more minutes here. I mean, I see clear rotation into, I see clear rotation into Tesla and semiconductors here. I like semiconductors more than Tesla though. Like, like I like semiconductors. Like I said, we were to reclaim this area. That's why we're popping, right? Semiconductors are reclaiming this. We lose this area, we start to build panic. Patel, you're in with Peso, huh? That guy's peer pressuring you to get Tesla calls. He called me yesterday, right? He called me. I did a, he called me yesterday. He's like, "Oh, you're not the Gus I used to know." Like he just wants me to go in heavy with him. Hey, no, I'm gonna wait for two. That's why I only filled 16K because I was like, that's all I'm feeling right now. So I ain't gonna get talked into that right now. I will though. I will. I will. Very nice on that Tesla trade, Alejandro. Just waiting here now, like yeah, it's pretty nice, right? The 685 calls were I got my last fills out at 0.61. Yeah, like and also like keep in mind for those of you guys looking into the prop firm, the sell ends literally in like, in a few minutes. Well, like in the next, 25 minutes for the 70% off. But again, if you guys are trading these prop firms, please, like I saw a lot of you guys get passed, and then, it made me very sad seeing that you guys had a payout, but you guys decided to take more trades on the account. You didn't lock it, and boom, you blew it and they denied your pay. Like you could your payout if it gets approved, yes, but if the account gets blown, they could take it away. So that's where they get you, right? Like, because they know that most people can't sit on their hands at times. So like if you pass the account, leave it cash until the money hits into your account. Okay. If you want to keep trading, just go buy another one, especially if there's promo codes for like 70% off. Like make it in another emails account, create an email for your pet or something, and create the funded account with that. But like just be very it's a good, I see people getting paid out. Okay, I see people getting paid out, but it's the people that don't like respect the fact, right? Yeah, so like like, and you guys could trade power hour with the account, right? So this is the account here, details. Well, there you guys go. I mean, for those of you guys who did, yeah, we're finally getting some volume. For those of you guys who did 1 day to expiration, now you know what you just did, right? For those, anyone got for Monday calls? Out of curiosity, anybody's in Monday calls. Okay, if you're in Monday calls, this is exactly what you did. You longed into the gap fill. You see this, right? So now in the history books, when this is in the history books, you could and we pop to a new all-time high, you could be like, oh, I bought that gap fill. I bought that gap fill. Or if like, I mean, I don't want to, I'd rather just wait for next week, right? I don't want to give like some early decisions here, and I'd rather just wait. Like we're in a big level here in the QQ. I'm not, the only thing I'm selling is Meta. I'm selling put premiums on Meta. I'm not selling it. I'm selling the put premiums. Okay. So it has been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster these past 2 days. It really has. I'm down six figures on this trade. I'm okay with it. Just keep in mind that, my shares too, they weigh me down. So it's psychologically draining, right? But it gets better with time. Like today, I don't even feel it. Yesterday, I felt it like in the morning, and then I just talked myself out of it. It's all psychology. But yeah, it does feel horrible. You're down six figures on on your position. But again, my average is $98 on Meta, and I know exactly what I'm doing, right? I'm selling put premiums. I'm selling the 550 put premiums for March. And do I recommend this strategy for most beginners? Not so really. I have some of you guys that have been doing covered calls and doing good, and I think that that's a pretty solid strategy. But what I'm doing is way more aggressive. But yeah, nothing happening here. So again, we got like 5 more minutes here. I think the volume is gonna kick in at 1250. Let's see, 1250. At the end of the day, when in doubt, like zoom out, right? When in doubt, zoom out, right? When in doubt, zoom out, right? This 1 hour sell, like the sell pressure still doesn't meet the buy pressure here. Zoom out. They're going head to toe here. That's why I keep saying, like, the volume here isn't there yet, right? It isn't there yet. Like, it's going to be the third candlestick, right? Which is going to be the one, two, and the third candlestick, which is going to be my Monday's candlestick. Monday's candlestick is going to dictate everything. Yeah, no, I feel you on that, John. I feel you on that because I'm actually, yeah, I feel you on that. That's on my Roth IRA feels because that's where I'm selling the put premiums. That's why I keep saying that if you have a long-term portfolio and and you're trying to day trade, like, you will build character. You will be very strong. But if you're just focused on day trading, you have no excuses. Let me tell you something. You have no excuses. Like if you're just day trading, you have no excuses because you don't feel like the psychology behind having your long-term portfolio weighted down. Yeah, I took profits on my QQ calls. I'm actually waiting to get back in. We'll see here. Just waiting. Remember, if you guys want a long, remember the UVXY, okay? Must remain below the opening range, 25.36. We must remain below that level. In terms of rotation, I see rotation back into semiconductors. Marvel looks good here, but I'm gonna wait for next week. We literally sold at the top. Well, we didn't really sell at the top, but I mean, in terms of where the premiums cost. My last sell on those 685s was 0.61. I know SPX still pricey here. And like, don't let this volume kind of like, it's looking better, right? But starting to build up here, right? That's what you look for. Don't let it excite you just yet. It's okay, right? This type of volume, like look at the volume, right? It goes par on par with this. That type of volume brought us all the way up. to 692 intraday. Okay, so just keep that in mind, right? It's going, yes, the volume is starting to build up here. You guys see it, right? Volume is going part apart, and we could see a big move here. I just want to respect the algorithm timing here. So this is where buyers are starting to come in. But I just don't trust it yet. Look, you see how it captured it? So this is a value area low. This is where 80% of the buy volume came in. You see how the indicator caught that? You guys saw that, right? How the indicator moved down? So that's how you use this indicator. This is now telling you where 80% of the volume came in. But don't let that give you FOMO. I'm still not in. I want to get closer to 1250. I'm gonna buy QQ calls. I already made my money though. I'm just gonna play with profits. I want to sweep this 80%. I want to sweep this low here. For me to get back in, I want to sweep where I see the high volume. So like around below, little roughly below 683. It's like 682.20. 682.80, excuse me. I wanted to take SPX, but I need this below 77400. I only feel comfortable getting with this below 7400 for the sweep. All right, we got 3 minutes here. Anyone going for round two? And then again, if you made money, don't be a degen and come back in. Okay, if you made money, like respect the fact you made money already, unless you could risk it, right? Like the cost of living is crazy, right? So it's like like preserve capital right now. I'm looking for us to sweep this low here. Okay, it's going par to par here. If you zoom out now, 15-minute time frame, still don't see it. 30-minute time frame, still don't see it. If anything, in 30 minutes, looking like a bearish pin bar here. 1 hour time frames, you guys can see in this hour, it's then decisiveness. So you go through different time frames, and the 1 hour time frame tells you there's still indecisiveness. Yes, volume's building up. And the 4 hour time frame, it's hanging on a thread from this gap fill range that we identified. You see how I go through every different time frame and do every different scenario? Now I do see some of you guys, I mean, Meta $600 calls. If anyone wants to do $600 calls or let this go a little lower than 597.5, do the Meta calls here. But SOXL, like I said, the confirmation is that SOXL has to remain back above 136.40. That's the confirmation. Or you guys could do what Alejandro's doing. 312.5 calls on Tesla. He's in on like 0.10. All right, we got 16 seconds here. 10, 9. You want to get Chase here, the 684s? You can, but I missed my entry. But you see how that was a perfect retest? That's weak. Let's see. I want this low to get swept. That's what I will enter in. This low getting swept. but resting orders were filled there. So everyone was anticipating this algorithm pop. So again, I'm waiting for this to sit here. Just waiting. I want to get 682.80. If you want to get here, 684, you can, but you know, it is relatively riskier. So 682.80, almost there. No, 682.80. I want to get 683 calls. I want to stay closer to the money. I still haven't got filled, by the way. If you got filled, man, what about I just thought I got a phone call right at the worst moment, right? And I looked at the screen and it was already bouncing. Oh my goodness. Gotta really put my phone on do not disturb when I'm in these power hour sessions. But 682.80. Let's see if we get that touch here. If we close below this level, I mean, you know, that's a pretty much bearish close. Still no entries here. I wanted to do the 683 call, still haven't filled them. Oh, how's SPX? Should we do, let's move on to SPX. Let's see how we could go with the 7400. I'm moving to SPX here. So 7400 calls, they're still pretty pricey. 3.70. This is very close here. 683s are back in the money. SPX here is at 4.50. Just if you got an SPX, get out at 4.70. This is too close. This is too close, but volume is coming in, but you know, it's getting too close here. Unless you could play it for 2 minutes. I'm gonna play it here. They're back at 5.20. Come on, pop, pop, pop. I got one SPX contract. Come on, pop, pop. 683 has to hold here. If you guys took the Tesla call, I'm in the SPX here, but I exited here on 7400. I got exit at 700 bucks here. That was nice. That was nice. That was some quick thinking on SPX. If you guys could hold it a little longer here on SPX, you know, I mean, I'm done. I'm done, guys. Oh man. All right, that's 2 out of 2. See, you know, forever lows here. Can we get this as a forever low? I probably sold too early. These are at 850 now, 880. Oh, I don't care. 870. All right, but even if you got the 683s or 684s right here, you know, please offload them. But how we feeling here? We good? Sniped SPX here, but I got out. Tesla is in the money, so if you guys took the 312.5s, those are in the money. Meta just never woke up. Unfortunately, my Roth IRA is still very sad. Um, yeah, it's part of the game. But yeah, any questions here? I got out, guys. Like I'm not gonna force this here. This is straight up manipulation here off this level. Like, yeah, buyers want to come in, but this I think they're the same people offloading here. Like you guys said, they're all on like vacation and they have enough room to play around with the liquidity here. But any questions here? We good? So again, keep in mind the deal with 70% off. The deal with 70% off will end in about 5 minutes. If you guys want to trade prop firm. But again, thank you guys. That was a nice power hour session. 2 out of 2. But no swinging for me. No, no, I'm good. I'm already, I can't take it anymore in terms of cortisol levels. Like I have enough with meta here. Like, I don't want to put myself into anything else. Any thoughts on swing? I mean, the war might end soon again. I mean, the war's been ending since it started, right? It's unpredictable. I can't predict the war. I'm not a war expert. I'm not a war expert, and neither is the guy in the presidency. But again, thank you guys. I hope you guys have an excellent weekend. We'll be back on Sunday for our prep. But I hope y'all have a wonderful evening.